Have you ever noticed a problem in your community? Have you ever felt empowered to craft a creative solution to solve that problem? That's what entrepreneurship is all about. Entrepreneurship does not need to solely be about making money. Though every business needs to generate enough revenue to cover their expenses, many organizations, both nonprofit and for-profit, focus on societal benefit over purely making money. The organization I founded in my freshman year of high school, Robotics for All, is one example of a business that prioritizes impact. Robotics for All's mission is to help close the opportunity gap by providing equitable educational enrichment opportunities, particularly in the fields of STEM. Every company must solve a problem, or there would not be a need for the company's services or products. The problem that Robotics for All attempts to close is the opportunity gap, which has only been exacerbated by the COVID-19 pandemic. Think about how education has changed during the pandemic. What have you missed about in-person classes? Perhaps you missed those small side conversations you've had with classmates before class, or you found it really easy to become distracted over Zoom. But for some students, the effects have been even worse. Many students from underserved communities lack proper technology and internet access to take virtual classes. The problem is only compounded by the fact that they may lack a quiet space to take classes and do homework from. The COVID pandemic has only worsened the problem that has long existed in this country. Students from underserved communities lack access to the same educational opportunities that their more affluent peers do. Due to the inherent way public schools receive funding based on property tax amount, this creates a very unfair system. Education inequality is compounded by expensive extracurricular opportunities and tutoring support that only students from affluent families can afford. Without proper education, many students remain stuck in the cycle of poverty. Closing the opportunity gap not only benefits students, it benefits society as a whole. If a subset of the population is not achieving their full potential simply because they do not have the resources to do so, we are missing out on lost talent and innovation. Imagine what these people could do for society if they were given a proper education and a fair chance at success in life. In fact, according to McKinsey and Company in 2020, if the US had solved the achievement gap in 2009, the US economy would be $400 to $670 billion larger today, equivalent to 3 to 5% of total GDP. Think about that, $670 billion. If we only invested a portion of that into solving the opportunity gap, think about where we'd be today. Though I now know that the opportunity gap is a major problem that faces our country, I found out about it through personal experience, which gave me the idea to create my nonprofit. Back as a freshman in high school, I was tutoring reading to students in underserved communities. I really felt I was making a difference in their lives. However, when I investigated the extracurricular activities offered at the school, I realized that there were none in robotics or anything technology related. Just as I believe that reading and math are two fundamental skills that are going to be useful in any career, I would like to add that robotics or some sort of computer skills were also really important. I wanted to teach robotics to the students I was tutoring at Reading Partners, so I contacted the principal of the school and proposed my idea. Though the problems we face may be large, in any business, it's important to start small. That way, you can really refine your product or service and make it as strong as possible. For the first year of Robotics for All, I focused on teaching a singular class at one school. My goal was to refine our curriculum and teaching style. Only after really feeling like that the students were enjoying our class and that were making a difference in their lives, did I choose to expand Robotics for All to make a greater impact. In order to do this, it's very important to create a scalable model. Though what making it scalable means depends on the product or service, at Robotics for All, we wrote detailed curriculum and teaching training documents. This enabled us to expand to more schools, including locations outside of our home state of California. By March 2020, we had expanded to 10 locations in 3 states and had taught nearly 500 students with 30 volunteers. We'd raised over $10,000 through grants and private donations to fuel our expansion. Funding is an incredibly important part of any business, since all businesses must cover their costs. You have to create a diverse portfolio of revenue sources. For nonprofits, which may not have program revenue, getting funding can be difficult. Initially, Robotics for All sought private donations and grants. Any business also needs to be adaptable and ready for change. As we all know it, in March 2020, the COVID-19 pandemic hit. We initially thought that it would be a short-term situation, so we channeled our efforts into improving our in-person curriculum. It soon became clear that we'd be in the pandemic for the long haul. We knew the opportunity gap was worsening, so instead of waiting for the storm to pass, we took action and we started preparing for our virtual classes. Being adaptable and quick to change is important in entrepreneurship. It's also necessary to delegate work and ensure that there are enough people. In May 2020, we brought on 15 summer volunteers to help us prepare for these classes. Throughout the month of June 2020, we developed curriculum with platforms that could be feasibly taught virtually, including Scratch, Python, and computer-aided design. Though some things like the physical component of robotics could not easily be replicated online, we did our best with the online-only programs. In July 2020, we launched our first online classes. We initially thought that we'd consider ourselves lucky if we received 100 enrollments, but we received over 250 enrollments for our first classes. Unlike our previous in-person classes, which were run entirely through schools, anyone across the globe could enroll in our online classes. This unlocked a new revenue generation model for us, donations for classes from parents who were able to donate. This quickly became our primary way of earning revenue. Parents who could donate got a class for their students and tax deductibility benefits. In turn, we were able to use these profits to provide classes to students whose families were unable to pay. Simply put, this is a win-win situation for everyone. Finding solutions like these are incredibly important in entrepreneurship. One major benefit of the virtual environment is the ease in which you can reach other people. This TEDx talk that I'm giving to you right now is just a testament to that. My audience is around the world, while I remain physically at Georgetown University in Washington, D.C. For Robotics for All, the lack of a geographical constraint allowed us, for example, to have a teacher in California teaching students all the way in New Jersey. We're also no longer geographically limited like we were with in-person classes, so this enabled us to fuel our growth. And in the past 10 months since our first online classes in July 2020, we have taught over 1,000 students. That's 2 times the number of students we taught in our 3 years of in-person instruction. We've established partnerships with dozens of schools in places from rural 50-person communities in Alaska to urban Atlanta. The virtual world is incredibly powerful. Use it to your advantage. Few companies are a single-person effort. We all just have 24 hours a day, so the only way we're able to do more is by delegating work. As a leader, creating a strong team is the single most important thing you can do. Behind Robotics for All is a massive volunteer effort. We now have 200 volunteers, up from 30 volunteers prior to the pandemic. Our volunteers not only serve as teachers, but they also do back-end tasks, including designing curriculum, coordinating classes, and securing funding. I never cease to be inspired by every single one of our volunteers, for it is their dedication that enables us to reach the number of students that we do. In addition to our flagship robotics, programming, and engineering programs, we also have 3 other affiliated organizations. Tutoring for All provides free tutoring services in dozens of subjects to K-12 graders. Mentoring for All will launch this summer, and they aim to provide mentorship services to high school students entering college. Lastly, we fiscally sponsored Craft for Charity, which was founded by one of our board members. Their mission is to teach free craft classes and then donate these crafts to charities. In any company, it's important to have vision for your growth. As Robotics for All looks forward to the next round of in-person classes that we hope to return to in fall, our online classes will not stop. Our online classes simply allow us to reach a subset of the population that we would never be able to reach with in-person classes. Our goal is to continue expanding our classes so that we can reach more students and volunteers. Our moonshot goal is to be in every community across the United States of America. As the pandemic continues to grow on and the opportunity gap continues to grow, we must creatively innovate solutions. If you have any ideas to solve this problem or any other problem that you see, try it. Entrepreneurship is all about trying new things and rolling with them. What's the worst thing that could happen? It doesn't work out. I personally have walked into so many dead ends myself, and that's just a part of the process. As long as you find one thing that works, that's all that matters. If you have an idea, go for it and try it out. You never know what it might lead you to. What are you waiting for?